everyone. Thought I'd do a very quick assembly today based on last Friday's celebrations. It was the 75th anniversary of VE Day. Now, I'm hoping that lots of you did something special. I know that I did, and my family. We were very sensible, and I live in like a little cul-de-sac, which is really lovely because all the houses are around, and we sat on our driveway, so we socially distanced from everybody, and had a nice kind of afternoon tea outside, and our neighbours were on their driveway and our other neighbours were on their driveway. So it was just really nice to just sit and, well, I say chat. Obviously we had to speak a bit loudly because we were socially distant, but seeing some different people than the same faces that I've been seeing at home. And it was really lovely. So I really hope that you had some really lovely celebrations too. I've seen lots of pictures on social media of my friends and family also did lots of celebrating, and I saw on the news lots of people had some wonderful celebrations, being very sensible obviously and keeping those 2 meters away from people who are not in your family. But it was nevertheless a very nice day. So I had a thought, and I thought, well, I couldn't come on last Friday and do an assembly because it was a bank holiday. So I thought I'd just talk a little bit about why we celebrated it last Friday, because it was a very, very special reason. Now, 75 years ago, it marked the end of World War II in Europe. So it was Victory in Europe Day, which is where you get your VE from. And on that day, the Prime Minister at the time, Winston Churchill, came on and did a radio broadcast at 3 o'clock that afternoon on the 8th of May, 1945, to announce that to the world that the World War II had finished and we had victory. Now, I cannot even imagine what that would have felt like to the people living at the time. The most amazing feeling of all of that struggle and all of that time of sacrifice being over. I know that when we are eventually allowed out of lockdown, we are all going to be so happy to be able to be out and have freedom and be able to see our families again. But those people during World War II, you know, their sacrifice was much more than that. People lost their lives fighting to help us keep our freedom now. People worked so hard at home, keeping the country going. All of those people that worked on the land and the farmers, lots of the women actually took on farming jobs and working in factories to build weapons. It was called, the working on the fields was called the Land Army, because everybody played their part. And think of the children. Children were evacuated during World War II. So they were moved from their homes and they went to live in the countryside, from cities, moving to the countryside where they felt that it was safer for them to be. Can you imagine even being taken from your home and going to live with a stranger to look after you because it was safer for you? So on the 8th of May, 1945, to hear that time of sacrifice had come to an end must have just been the most amazing feeling. Now, I found a poem. It's written by a 12-year-old boy called Jack Wood. He was an evacuee. So he was one of the children that went to live in the countryside with a family that were not his own. And he wrote a poem about what it felt like, that moment that Churchill announced on the radio that the war had been won and there was victory. So I'm going to read it to you now. It's quite short. The war is won. It's VE Day. A wild excitement fills the air. Grown-ups busy, children play among the tables standing there. In roads bedecked with myriad flags and bunting hung across the street. Women dressed in their best rags pile tables high with things to eat. Men pull rafters from a bomb site, building a gigantic fire. Hitler sitting very upright, waiting for his funeral pyre. Ernie plays the old Joanna, favourite tunes that won the war. Any song for just a tanner. Money goes to help the poor. Beer and whiskey flow like water, hoarded for this special day. So, you know, lots of vocabulary in that poem. It's quite tricky to understand. You know, myriad flags, lots of different colours. You can imagine all that bunting outside. They had really long tables. Everyone put their dining tables together and sat in huge street parties. Women dressed up really nicely in their best clothes, piling the tables high with yummy treats like scones, that kind of thing. And men pulling rafters from the bomb site, building a gigantic fire. So you can imagine that this amazing party was going on, and right next to it, maybe a bombed building or something like that, and they're pulling wood from it to put on a gigantic fire just for the celebration. It's an amazing thing. So, you know, we are very, very lucky that the people had made such sacrifice for us during the war. And, you know, VE Day, 75 years since it happened, was certainly something to celebrate. So I really do hope that you did something special, even though it's very tricky in this time when we've got to stay safe. But I really hope that you had a chance to do something a little bit different whilst keeping safe. So that's all I wanted to say today. Just that we're all missing you. All the adults are missing you. It's going on for quite a long time now, isn't it? But I know it's the best thing, because we are all trying to keep safe and keep well. And I want you to stay that way. So take care, and I will see you soon. Bye.